James Bond was a public school hero for the modern age.
Never know how much I love you. Never know how much.
A publishing sensation in the 60s, Bond became the star of the longest-running and one of the most successful film franchises of all time. But for all his gadgets, his girls, his conquests and his cocktails, he remains a supremely patrician figure. Indeed, for all his apparent classlessness, Bond was essentially a mouthpiece for his old Etonian creator, Ian Fleming.
These observations are really, of course, observations of my own, which I put into Bond's mouth.
The son of a rich Tory MP, Fleming spent much of his childhood at the family estate, Joyce Grove. And like Fleming, Bond enjoys a gilded existence. Educated at Eton, he drives a Bentley and plays for high stakes. From the start, Fleming wanted David Niven to play his gentleman spy, but he didn't get his way.
The producers of the first Bond film were very anxious that worldwide audiences might be put off by an upper-class English gent. So they looked for somebody harder, tougher, a cold-blooded killer, not a simpering fop.
Anybody want a dainty custard cream? Yeah.
They picked someone completely different, a muscular milkman from the tenements of Edinburgh. Connery had the look, but not the manners. So the producers handed him over to Terence Young, the public school-educated director of the first Bond film, and he gave Connery a makeover. Young took him to his Savile Row tailor and got him a suit. He took him to dinner and showed him how to talk, how to walk, and even how to eat.
What Terence Young did was to transform Sean Connery into the suave establishment hero that James Bond remains today. And so a Scottish bodybuilder became the ultimate gentleman adventurer.
Hold it! May we call your attention to Mr. Bond's impeccable tailoring from London's Savile Row? The shirt is of hand-tailored Indian madras. Also the cravat, hand-woven of Javanese batik, is 007.
If you carry a 00 number, it means you're licensed to kill.
Now, properly attired, Connery's Bond was ready to enjoy the high life.
Deluxe travel.
Something hugely attractive and unimaginably glamorous to audiences in the early 60s. Connery was not quite the idea I had of Bond, said Ian Fleming, but he would be if I wrote the books over again.
I have to leave immediately.
Just as things were getting interesting again.
After Connery finally hung up his Walter PPK, the series started to acquire more and more of Harry Flashman's irrepressible patrician style. So to me, Roger Moore's Bond is basically the embodiment of effortless superiority, an unreconstructed imperial hero with an eyebrow knowingly raised and a quip for every occasion. All that's really missing are the bushy whiskers and the flashing sabre.
And in The Spy Who Loved Me, Moore's Bond has never been more splendidly Flashman-esque.
007, Triple X. Bond, what do you think you're doing?
Keeping the British end up, sir.
Nobody does it better.
Not only is Roger Moore's Bond much funnier than Connery's, he's also even more patrician. And far from disguising their hero's upper-class background, later Bond films placed it centre stage. In Skyfall, we finally get to see James Bond's ancestral home, an imposing Scottish manor house, complete with staff.
This is Kincaid, gamekeeper here since I was a boy.
Pleased to meet you, Emma.
Mr. Kincaid.
The truth is that apart from his womanising, Britain's greatest fictional hero might have been written in the 1850s, a public schoolboy taking on the bullies on behalf of a grateful nation. Yet right from the beginning, Bond was a fantasy. Even as Fleming's first books hit the shelves, Britain's power was fast ebbing away. Bond was an imperial hero for a country without an empire. And the collapse of British